In 1989, LL Cool J was on a roll. He had hits coming off of obviously his first album with Can't Live Without My Radio and all that, his second album with Bad, and his third album is just full of huge hits that were dope, you know, underground stuff like Jack the Ripper, and of course just huge mainstream hit after hit, Big Old Butt, Going Back to Cali, and of course, I'm That Type of Guy. Now for better or for worse, a lot of what LL Cool J was doing at this time was experimental. You know, he'd had a huge hit off of his last album, I Need Love, which practically spawned a whole subgenre of, you know, the token rap song on album, Going Back to Cali, which I mentioned before, and this, I'm That Type of Guy, which is very, you know, ultra smooth kind of stuff, which isn't totally brand new. I mean, you already had Big Daddy Kane doing stuff like Smooth Operator and Ain't No Half Steppin'. But this, I mean, he's not even really, he's barely rapping, it's almost spoken word. A really smoothed out beat, and what's interesting is apparently, according to the production credit goes to LL Cool J himself, as well as the B-side, I Guess No Rougher, which is also on the album. But it's interesting, produced by LL Cool J, they claim, but then co-written by, you know, Dwayne Simon, Eric Sadler, Hank Shocklee. So I don't know, it's hard to believe he actually produced these beats. I imagine the co-writers actually made these beats, but you never know. Of course, back in those days, I didn't have the 12-inch, I had the cassette single, but it's really the same thing. It's even the same picture cover, obviously cropped and crunched a bit more, but it's the same image. And it's the same track listing. Both the 12-inch and the cassette single only have the 2 songs. No other mixes, no other anything. So again, what's interesting about these experimental projects of LL Cool J's is that they were all huge hits. Going Back to Cali was huge. I mean, not just in hip-hop, but, you know, it was on MTV constantly. In fact, they had their own parody version, which itself became a hit. You know, everybody who knew nothing about hip-hop knew it. It was on, I think it was the Less Than Zero soundtrack. And this song was pretty much the same way. Again, a huge hit. If you were listening to hip-hop back in the 80s, you heard this song. If you watched shows like Yo, Rap City, Video Music Box, you saw this video constantly. So it had that big budget video. It's the whole thing, you know, he's kind of, you know, rapping with a girl doing his hair or whatever, but then he's like a cat burglar, you know, and he's sneaking in, he's got a grappling hook on a crossbow, he takes out some security guards, and he busts into a big vault, which is full of hot girls, which was sort of the punchline. But it was, you know, cheesy, and the song is cheesy as hell, but it was a huge hit. And when you've got those elements, cheesy and huge hit, you know somebody's gonna do an answer record, and that's what happened also in 1989. Tony M.F. Rock on his album Let Me Take You to the Rock House. I'm That Type of Guy becomes I'm the Type of Nigga, and right from the title you know he's going to be a lot more street. This is on the album. It is actually also on the B-side to one of his singles, Keep On Dancing, and that has the instrumental. The instrumental, though, is really the same as I'm That Type of Guy. In fact, I guess that's almost the only way to get the instrumental to that I'm That Type of Guy, because it's not on here. It is somewhat different, especially, most notably, there's a lot of dope scratching. So if you don't know who Tony M.F. Rock is, he's actually, well, formerly known at first as just plain Tony Rock. In fact, that Keep On Dancing 12-inch is credited to just Tony Rock. And he's a Miami artist. He was down with MC Shy D, who appears on this album a couple times. MC Shy D is the guy who put him on. He signed to Luke Records. He put out that single, and then eventually this album and a couple more singles. So this is actually a pretty interesting album because it's, you know, Miami-based, 1989, you know, it's got exactly what you would expect from that kind of era, you know, the bass, the hype, dance cuts, the fast beats, but it's also a lot of kind of cool street stuff. I mean, you can just tell from the album cover and the title and all that. That's a lot more street, you know, he's cursing up a lot and he's doing some more hardcore tracks too. So it's a dope album, I recommend it, even besides this song. But this song's a blast. He's clowning LL Cool J like line for line. It's really a retake. I mean, for every line that's in the song, there's an alternate version in here. Towards the end, there's a great line where LL Cool J, you know, in the LL Cool J version, he says, you know, you're the type of guy that has no idea that a sneaky, freaky brother's creeping up in the rear. And then they cut it up on this version. You know, they have the LL Cool J sample going, a sneaky, freaky brother. I'm going to cut back and forth between them so you get a real sense of, you know, how each line from the Tony Rock song is really a clown on lines from the LL Cool J song. So it's a pretty deep, pretty close answer record. It's a lot of fun.
You're the type of guy that can't control your girl. You try to buy love with diamonds and pearls.
You're the type of guy that fuck with other guys' girls. There's a lot of punk-ass niggas like you in this world. But I'm the type of nigga that'll shoot a fuck-ass nigga like you when I catch you fucking around in my motherfucking bedroom.
You're the type of guy that gets suspicious. I'm the type of guy that says the pudding is
vicious. There's no need for brothers like us to get suspicious, cause you're the type of guy that says the dickhead is delicious. T-Y-P-E-G-U-Y, I'm that type of guy to give you a pound and wink my eye like a bandit. Caught me red-handed, took her for granted, but when I screwed up, you couldn't understand it. T-Y-P-E-N-I-G-G-A type of nigga, but you couldn't figure why I pulled the trigger like a bandit. Caught you red-handed, fucking around in my crib, and when the bullet hit your ass, you was dead before you landed.
Unfortunately, this is Tony MF Rock's only album. Like I said, he did a couple more singles off of this album. He has a guest appearance on a Poison Clan song, which in fact I kind of briefly mentioned in a previous video. It was a song that uses the same beat as K-Solo's Fugitive, the Posse cut, you know, with Brother Marquise. And it was on their first album, the first Poison Clan album. So you got a guest verse there. He's got a couple singles in this album, and that's about it. Then he disappeared, which is unfortunate because this is some good stuff, and I would like to hear some more from Tony Rock. But this is the only album. Obviously, LL Cool J went on to do bigger and bigger, and sometimes more crass and awful things.
If you had any sense, you take them to a hotel. You don't go fucking around in people's houses. That's dumb as hell.